Pakistani drivers are said to risk it all for money. Even with cargo piled as high as a grave, nothing stops them from pushing forward. Here, on a road not far from Peshawar, another overloading incident has occurred. A tractor was forced to stop in the middle of the road. Taking a closer look, the tractor's tire and body have completely separated. Judging from the sugarcane bagasse fully loaded in the back, it's clear that overloading was the cause of this accident. The tractor is fully loaded with tons of sugarcane bagasse, so the mechanics have to make emergency repairs on the spot. The entire cargo bed is essentially flat on the road. The immediate priority is to lift the cargo bed using a combination of jacks and wooden blocks. The mechanics finally raise the cargo bed to its normal height. Next, the mechanic lowers the cargo bed support plate, installs the pin, and then uses a jack to lift the tractor's rear axle. The mechanic first tried removing the pin connecting the cargo bed, but after several attempts failed. There's a drain plug under the gearbox, which he removes to drain the oil. Then they began to remove the screws on the tractor's housing. Overloading tractors is commonplace in Pakistan, and the Pakistani mechanics are already accustomed to this kind of emergency repair work. After removing the two U-bolts at the bottom, the left fender can be easily taken off. The next task is to remove the axle shaft housing. To replace the axle shaft, this housing must be removed, because the Pakistani mechanics only have hand wrenches. Removing the screws on the housing took a lot of time. After removing the screws, mechanics gently tapped it with a small hammer. It took several of them working together to finally remove the axle shaft. The transmission's gear structure looks complex, but the main task for this repair is to replace the axle shaft. The mechanic uses a wrench to remove the screws on the cover. The Pakistani mechanic's hand wrench is as efficient as a power wrench. Then, the mechanics remove the caliper. Inside are two brake pads, followed by the brake disc. Below is a set of planetary gears. The mechanics use a socket wrench to loosen the screws. After removing the planetary gears, the broken axle shaft can be taken out. It looks simple, but it's not simple at all. Let me show you the broken axle shaft. It's hard to imagine just how much this tractor was overloaded. Next, the mechanics began to remove the bolts on the wheel hub. Since they don't have an impact wrench, they can only use leverage to loosen the bolts and then unscrew them with a socket. And with that, the broken axle shaft has been removed. It's obviously too late to repair the broken axle shaft, so the mechanics have prepared a brand new one. Before installation, first install the oil seal and tap it gently a few times with a small hammer to ensure it's secure. Next, install the bearing, also tapping it with a small hammer to ensure it is seated correctly. Next, install the axle shaft into the housing, tapping it twice to ensure the oil seal is seated. Next, flip over the axle housing. There are still many main parts to install. First, let's install the planetary gear. It's quite similar to the recently repaired excavator's final drive, which also uses planetary gears for reduction. After installing a washer, connect the axle shaft with a screw and tighten it with a socket wrench. This screw is crucial, so a bit of leverage is needed to secure it. It turns very smoothly. A disc is installed on the planetary gear as a separator. Next, install the sun gear. Then, install the brake pads and the brake disc above them. There are two more brake pads on top of the brake disc, sandwiched in the middle like a cookie. Finally, install the brake housing and tighten the retaining screws on it, and the axle shaft repair work is basically complete. After resetting the seal on the brake rod, the next step is to figure out how to reinstall the axle housing. Align the gears. Bolt it on. There is also a clamp at the flange position, which enhances the mounting strength of the axle housing. Afterward, the mechanics reinstalled the fender and then mounted the tractor tire. You can tell the power of this tractor from the height of its tires. Finally, use a lever to securely tighten the bolts, and the tractor repair work is mostly finished. The kind mechanic also added a bucket of new oil for the customer. After the repairs are complete, the tractor can get back on the road. Stepping on the gas, the tractor does a wheelie as it moves forward, showing its powerful performance. Having seen this, what do you all think of the Pakistani mechanics' repair skills?